Yo, what's up everyone? Patrick here, welcome back. And in this next video, and actually over the next couple of videos, what we'll do is get some practice dealing with these exponent laws here. So getting expressions and then simplifying them. And there's no real set pattern on how to do things. They're just general patterns that you'll start to come across. So what I'm going to do is go over a bunch of examples, a bunch of videos where hopefully you start seeing these general patterns. And so then no matter what question you run into, you know how to go about it. So starting here with number 1, we got 3 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of negative 5. So notice that this here, it's in this format, number 1. 2 exponential terms multiplying by each other with the same base. So what we can do is we can actually add those exponents. And notice that 3 plus negative 5 would give us negative 2. So we'd have 3 to the power of negative 2, and then notice that this here is in this format, right? 3 to the power of negative 2. So we would change it to be 1 over 3 to the power of 2, which would give us 1 over 9, like that. Now, there's different ways to go about these too. Over time, you'll start to develop your own sort of style. Another way we could have done this is we could have took this and then converted it to be 3 to the power of 3 over 3 to the power of 5. A lot of times, and you'll see this over the next couple of videos, maybe not in this video. In number 5, I'm going to do that, but a lot of times when there's negative exponents, I always like to turn them into positive ones. So in this case, this 3 to the negative 5, we could have brought down to the denominator, and then it turns into a positive exponent. And then over here, notice this is like having 3 3s up top. And then this here is like having 5 3s at the bottom. And so what would happen here, these would cancel out. We're left with 1 at the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So that's another way you can go about it. So different ways you can go about all of these questions. Just make sure if you do it your own way, you're getting the same answer that I'm getting in the end. Moving on to number 2. We got 4 to the negative 5 times 4 to the power of 6, and then that's to the power of 2. So what I'm going to do here, let's keep the negative 5 up there, and then these two you would multiply. You'd be using this rule over here. You can multiply those exponents, so that would give us 4 to the power of 12, which would end up being negative 5 plus 12 would give us 4 to the power of 7. And then when you input that in your calculator, you'd get a fairly large number, 16,384. So this simplifies into that. I'm going to write this answer up here. So then moving on to number 3, we got 6 to the power 1 times 6 to the power 0 times 6 to the power negative 3. Now again, all of these have the same base. They're multiplying, so you could just add all the exponents. 1 plus 0 plus negative 3 would give us negative 2. And also this 6 to the power 0, you could have just ignored even, because that just ends up being a 1, right? Anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So, and then you'd have 1 plus negative 3, which would still give you negative 2. And then this here would end up being 1 over 6 to the power positive 2, and that would be 1 over 36. So that's what number 3 is. Number 4, we got 2 to the power 4, all to the power 2, over 2 to the power 3. So here in the numerator, we can multiply these exponents, right? It is in this format right there. So we'd have 2 to the power 8 over 2 to the power 3, which would give us 2 to the power 5. You could subtract the exponents here because you're dividing exponential terms with the same base. So 8 minus 3 is 5. 2 to the power 5 is 32. And then finally, number 5, we got 2 to the power negative 6 divided by 2 to the negative 9. So different ways you could do this. What I would do in this case is I would actually bring this up to change it to a positive exponent, and then this down to change it to a positive exponent as well. So personally, that's the way I would go about it. And then 2 to the power 9 over 2 to the power 6, we could subtract those exponents, so you get 2 to the power 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. And then you'd end up getting 8, like that. Now, this rule over here, you can apply right away with the negative exponents too. So you could have also did 2 to the power negative 6 minus negative 9, like that, which would give us 2 to the power negative 6 plus 9, which would give us 2 to the power 3, which would give us 8. So whichever way you go about it, that final answer there is